So don't be shy if I pull you up, okay? So let me start off by asking a question first. I want to start off today. Come on in. Yeah. You can sit up here in the front. That's a room. How many have been to California? Been to California before? Never been to California? Okay. There's a map of California right over my booth where Cora is, right there. And on it, you'll see marked out the areas where all the tribes used to live. The people, and then they have defined borders. They're different from the borders municipalities make, of course. They were indigenous borders, right? And then you'll notice up at the northern end of California, there's a tribe called the Maidu, and that's where we're from, and that's the story we're going to tell you about today. Okay, so if I could get, come on and sit down. Thank you. You're good. If I could get some volunteers in here in a second and make this story come alive, I'll pick you. Just sit right there. And thanks for coming. Thank you, everyone, for coming and tuning in. So this story starts a long time ago at the end of the last ice age, the Pleistocene era. So we're talking 15,000 years ago. Back then, there was a giant, vast waterway that covered Maidu country, all in Nevada. Today, there's remnants of 3 of those lakes, and the rest of the water is dried up. And it was like most of the blue dots on the map show lakes. They really aren't there. They're dried up puddles, and there's new lakes that were made after they inundated villages and stuff. But this story starts way back then. And back in the beginning, when this world was covered with water, Earthmaker, we call him Koroyapem. Koroyapem was the world maker. And he floated about this world in a world covered with water. And it was a misty world. Reflected the sky, so it looked like the meadows of heaven. And everything in it was just water. There was no land anywhere to be seen. He couldn't find, he searched and searched and searched. And as he searched about this world filled with water, the only thing that was on his mind was, where could I find some land? And this bothered him. So, his buddy, Wepam, the coyote, we call him Wepam. Wepam says, Earthmaker, hey, want to be? You can, all right. So Wepam says to Earthmaker, my, you are a strong, powerful person who have just thought up this world. Earthmaker tells Coyote, I'm trying to think of where we could find some land, and then we're going to float to it. So that's what they set out to do. They started floating and floating. The Earthmaker's thinking, he's conjuring up some land. Boredom sets in. If you've ever been by yourself for a long time, it's just you and one other person, we start singing crazy songs. That's what happens. Earthmaker started singing a song. This song really was the first song. The only thing was the question, really was the first question on his mind. Where can I find a little land? Where are you, little bit of land? And he sang that song. Homondi nuktim koroka. Homondi nuktim koromuka. Homondi nuktim koromuka. And he sang out. And he sang and he sang. Nothing happened. He got tired. He says, well, Coyote, you try. Well, everyone knows coyotes don't sing. What do coyotes do? Howl. So, just as off key and just as terribly, Wepam, Homondi nuktim koromuka. Homondi nuktim koromuka. Homondi nuktim koromuka. And he sang that till he got tired. He says, well, Earthmaker, you try again. Kicks it back over. Earthmaker has an idea that if he sings it louder, more bigger bass, and just get it out there, that the mountain's way out there and the misty fog might possibly hear him. Okay. And he sang that really loud. Nothing happened. He says, oh, Coyote, you try. So Coyote, wet bum tries again. Singing that, and guess what? Nothing happened. So he turns to Earthmaker and he says, you know, I don't think there's any land out here. We've been doing this for a while. I don't think there's any land at all. Earthmaker is more optimistic. He's more positive. He says, I think if we can just find a little bit of land, I can certainly fix it up. Okay. So they float some more. And then suddenly, out on the water, they spot a tutum, bird's nest. So they spot a bird's nest out. And Coyote, the weapon, and Earthmaker get up to it, and they see that it's really tiny. Earthmaker wonders, how can I make this better? How can I make this bigger? I wonder, can I stretch this bigger? And so as he thought about it and he talked about it, and it started to transform into this idea that he had to make it bigger. He's going to take some of the fibers from this nest, fastening them into ropes, and he did that. And then he could grab one of those cords, and he pulled it to the east. And then another, he grabbed it, and he pulled it to the south. Stretched it to west where the sun goes down. And to the northwest he went. Finally over to the north country, he pulls it a little, and he looks up. It's a lot bigger now. So, that's fabulous. We gotta have some music. So he asks Chivis Polotkum, the meadowlark, to sing a song. Sing us a song, meadowlark, so that in the future, mortal men will see that you were the one who created this world, making the nest, sticking together the first mud, and singing the songs into the world. Sing! So, Chivis Polotkum, the meadowlark, sings. He sings those beautiful world-making songs that he's known for. And after he was done, Earthmaker asked Wepam, you think you could come up with another song? So Wepam comes up with another song, and he starts singing about the land that he would like to live in. The kind of land that has great big valleys. Valleys that he could go zigzagging across, crisscrossing its prairies and just wandering everywhere to the foggy mountains where he could howl. So that's what coyotes do. And that's what he sang about. And he gets tired and asks Earthmaker, can you sing again? So Earthmaker sang about the world he'd created from the nest and the world he had found and the world he made, and that was what delighted him. And so after that, let's see, he set out to stretch it bigger. He wants to make it bigger. He says, Coyote, I think we should make it bigger. But heck it, stop. Coyote says, I'm wise. I speak smart. I got an idea. I think we should paint the world to make it look beautiful. What do you two think about that? Chiwis the meadowlark, says, what do I know? I'm just the bird. You two are the smart ones going around fixing up this world and making it better again every time you find something wrong with it. Coyote says, well, fine. I'll paint the world and make it look beautiful. I'll paint the world with blood. All the creatures that are going to be born, every human, every deer, every sort of animal, everything will have blood in it, running through it. And the rocks will be red. And the earth will be red. It'll look like it's mixed with blood. And the whole thing will be beautiful. What do you guys think about that? Chiwis says, what do I know? I'm just the bird. I'm the singer. I just fly like this. And Chiwis flies off. So Coyote, Webpam says, fine, I'm going to paint the world. And he painted the world. So after the world's painted, Earthmaker says, I think we should make it bigger. Yes. Okay, so hey, Coyote, come lay down on your face. So he gets Coyote, puts him down on his face, on his belly, on the ground, just like that, right? And Earthmaker took his foot and he stretched it to the east. Took his other foot, stretched it to the south. Pulled his other foot all the way to where the sun goes down, to the west. To the northwest, he stretched his other leg. And that just left his snout. So he pulled it to the north. And he says, that's fine. So Coyote gets back up. Coyote gets up. And he shakes it off. And he, whoa, this is nice. But I think it should be big enough to go all the way around in. Fine, let's make it bigger then, so we can go all the way around in it. Get down on your face again. Puts him on his face. Grabs his leg and pulls it all the way to the east. And he pulls the other one all the way to the south, as far as it could go. To the west, all the way far as it could go to where the sun goes down. And to the northwest he went, pulling the other leg. And he pulled that snout back to the north. Wow, he's done there. So Coyote gets back up, he stands up, and he looks around. He says, whoa, this is nice. All right, so Coyote, he's like Toyota, wants to go places, and he heads off towards the east. And he heads off that way and wanders off to go inspect the country. So guess what? That leaves Kuroyapim, the world maker, standing there all alone. So he wants to see how big this world is now, and he heads off to the south. So he's heading off to the south. He gets all the way to the end, and then he turns and goes over to the coast where the sun goes down. And then back all the way up to the northwest he went, crossed over to the north country, came all the way back around to the spot in the beginning where he had first turned off. And that's where he set up to make people. 2 people he made. He made them all in pairs. The first people he made were Carmel. He made some more people. Red ones. Made some white ones. Sweet they were. Lots of people. Some that weren't so white. Maybe sunburned a lot. And some that were golden. All sorts of colors, all sorts of creatures he made. Every color from dark to light. He kept count of them. Made them in pairs. And after he made all them creatures, Kuroyapim turns and looks at the lands, decides the habitats that he's going to place people. Says to the lands, you, lands, having a name, I'm going to give you people. And these people will have names. They will have many, many children. And they'll fill up all this land. But they're not going to be born soon. Then he turns and goes about to distribute the people about the land. And so the Koroyapem, goes to distribute the people to the land. And so, you are a different looking people, he said. You are a different speaking people. I'm going to give you this land. And you are to stay here for many generations, and you will have many children. You won't be born soon, but you will have names, and all your children will have names. And he left them there. And then to another land, he gave another sort of peoples. You are a different looking people, a different speaking people. You will have many children too. You will have a land that you can name, and you will give that name to all your children. And in teaching that name, they will know if they want to leave and go somewhere, they'll know the name of it, so they can tell you where they're going. But you won't be born soon. Then to another land, he gave another person's peoples to that land and say, you too will have land. You will have many children, and your children having names, and their children having names will teach each other the names of all the places around them. And if any time you want to travel and go somewhere, you can just say the name and everyone will know where you're going. And he left them there. He goes around to another country and he gives them that country of peoples. You are a different sort of people, different speaking people, different looking. You stay here in this land, having stayed here for many winters and many dawns, having came and passed. You'll have a great number of children, and those children will have children, boys and girls, and they will all have names without exception. Each one of them. There'll be plenty for them. It's with another peoples he gave to another land. He says, and you will be a person having a country too. You will have a great many amount of children. And your children will learn all the names of these places so that when they want to go somewhere, they can go somewhere. And then he went around to the middle of the world, he ended up, where he made some more life forms, some more creatures, some peoples. And he told them, you too will have a land, but you won't be born soon. You will grow and have a great number of you, and you will have everything you want. Food will grow for you. All sorts of animals will be out there for you to hunt and fish. And with that, he shoved all of them under Gopher Hills. Yeah. And then he went around over here, and he found one last one. You are a little one, but you will have a country too. You'll have the biggest country and the most kids. And you will have an abundance of food, and you will never have a need for any place else. But you must never chase anyone from their lands, telling them that they must leave in order for you to take that land. You can't do that. And with that, he flicked them across the mountains. This all made Wepum really suspicious. See, Coyote don't trust no one because he knows how he is inside. He says, I knew something was up with this cat doing all that. Well, I fixed a rope around all the lands. I think it's too flat, so I'm going to pull on it every now and again, and then I'm going to cause this world to shake. And I'm going to do that so it'll be firm. And the earth will be solid, and it won't move. What do you think about that? Koroyapem, the world maker, says, well, I think there needs to be songs. Lots of songs. All the humans should have songs and music so that the world could be beautiful and full of music and sounds that are pleasant to the ear. And as he says that, he starts walking off. He starts walking off to the place where he would go sit and meditate. And he sat down to think about this, everything that he had made. But in telling this story, see, all the credit goes to metal art. Chiwis Palotkum is the one in the future that the people will say that created this whole world. The metal art sang the first songs and sent music out into the world, fashioned that nest with his own hands and stuck the earth together with them. And yes, he's the one that'll get all the credit. And then with that, Worldmaker takes off and goes west. He goes west over to where the sun goes down, and on the other side of the sun is where he built his house, where his home is, and that's where he lives to this day. And that's how it was told to us 100 years ago, when we were little children, living in round houses like this. In the wintertime, these stories would be told. This is the creation of the world encoded in a way that you can't forget, so that the little children can tell these stories and make them come alive. So hopefully today, we've caught a little glimpse of that and can remember, Chiwis Palotkum, the metal art, gets all the credit. Chichina who did the real work, right? I want to thank each and every one of you today for coming out and taking the time to listen. And I look forward to doing this again with you, okay? So my name is Paul Cason. Thank you very much for coming out. Look forward to seeing you again.